Hello and welcome to the Kopala TV main news. We get straight into stories making headlines today. CCZ holds a social and economic justice program. Kandawe compound calls on area member of parliament to shifty look into the matter of electricity connection. UPND on the Copper Belt celebrates fall of Bill 10. And in international news, Iraqis doubt parliamentary election will bring change. Join us shortly after this. To present the Kopala TV main news, my name is Monze Mwenga. The Council of Churches in Zambia, CCZ, held a social and economic justice program in order to give a report on the 2020 budget, reflections, and current mining issues in the country. CCZ held this public discussion at Kitwe's St. Margaret's UCZ Church to know they are there as a church. Diana Kopala gives us more details in the following report.
The workshop to know where they are as a church. The Council of Churches in Zambia held the public discussion of the 2020 budget reflection and current mining issues in the country. The meeting was held at Kitwe's St. Margaret's UCZ. The workshop was attended by people from different denominations, civil society groupings, and private sector, while others from the public offices decided not to attend. Reverend Canon Emmanuel Chikoya explained the current mining issues in Zambia.
Mining companies should make meaningful tax contributions to the government. Government should stop depending on pay as you earn, as it discourages the growth of SMEs. It should restructure the pay tax system to give tax relief to the lower income categories and increase VAT by 1.5 or 2% points as a compensatory measure. Government should undertake a comprehensive tax policy and tax administration reform to come up with a tax system that broadens the tax base. Broaden the tax base by bringing in everyone in the tax net, reduce the tax burden and provide incentives for tax compliance.
Reverend Chikoya said the role of the church is to provide counsel, advice, as well as rebuke regardless of who is in the wrong. And he has urged the church to speak out for the betterment of this country.
He knows the importance of prayer, but he says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And so one of the things that CCZ aspires to do, it is to ensure that there is an enlightened Christian presence in the country. We would like to see a situation where people know who they are, know whose they are, but also be able to know some of the root causes and other challenges that come their way. We are informed by Luke 4, verse 18 to 22. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, preaching good news to who? To the poor.
Also speaking was public financial management expert Felix Nkulukusa, and he explained the highlights of the budget.
Percent of our budget to the health sector to achieve health for all that we visioned to achieve by the year 2030. For the health, again, 2015, only 9.6% of the budget was allocated. 2018, only 9.5%. 2019, we start going on the downward trend, 9.3. 2020, 8.8. 2021, only 8.1%. Again, the budget that is supposed to go to health has been cut by almost half. So, with this, is it possible that we can be able to achieve our vision 2030? As at now, if we continue on this trend, we cannot achieve the vision.
He also gave some advice to the church.
Sector, which includes, when I say private sector, I'm talking about government and private sector. On the private sector, where the church belongs, there is no dynamism. We are always waiting for the government to do the right thing.
Maybe the problem has been that we are always waiting for the government to provide a solution. Could it be that we are all to blame for the economic challenges the country is currently experiencing? Diana Kafwala, Kopala TV News, Kitwe.
Residents of Kitwe's Kandawe compound in Mukuba ward of Nkana constituency are calling on their area member of parliament to shift a look into the matter of electricity connections. Kandawe compound is one of the oldest compounds in Kitwe and has never had electricity. Diana Kafwala was in the compound and gives us more details in the following report.
It is one of the oldest compounds in Kitwe district. Kandawe compound has expanded vastly over the years, but this compound has never had electricity. Kopala TV spoke to some of the residents in this compound, and they are calling on their area MP to look into the matter.
Ilias yamenshi ni problem ikulu yakutila bana mayo nga walo chefina mayo fyalechula tetutemwe ngaya 2 hours bakatolika pala peni epasango ameshi timbi ku market epasango ameshi but mi pipe yantonika ni.
The compound has only one primary school, a police post which is only managed by the neighborhood watch, and no clinic. And the residents explained why the police post is managed by the neighborhood watch.
Post panon voting the neighborhood aisho tubomba papa police post kubafyo kubomba mude mola ndo bushikukula fita so chila shutula firu kutilati tubombe bwino bushiku mola ndo abatinga pa fita filia mwalishiba bakabwala tete batule.
Others are appealing to the government to also look into the matter.
Nalombo buteko bwesu kupitira mu office lyaba honorable Chiteme buchirisha kofe na His Excellency the President of Zambia Gachagua to come to the aid of our people muno.
So chinatemwa kule bakateka besu batuteti Gachagua kwebati barekeshe kupaka ndabo babe kwa menshi.
According to the residents, the compound is unsafe because there is no security. But they believe that once they have electricity, things will normalize. For now, we can only hope that their call will be heard. Diana Kafwala, Kopala TV News, Kitwe.
The opposition United Party for National Development UPND on the Copper Belt yesterday celebrated the fall of the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 10 of 2019. UPND Copper Belt Provincial Chairman Elisha Matambo said the flop of Bill 10 is the clearest signal of how unpopular and irrelevant the Patriotic Front has become to the nation. In case you have just tuned in, you are watching the Kopala TV main news. Join us after this set of commercials.
TV. Kopala ya buena buena mumwesu Kopala. Kopala TV.
My number ishushorimenti ndeyaza yamaoji urushani Kopala TV yamaoji imuntu wandi Yesu fwebene by fwebene fwebene naidede kalasti yako Kopala futi yaba Kopala manje kuikatashani yoina naena ya kuntambo oroni jiviji wala iwe ile sangwa patopsta decoder channel 98 paku ninshi yatubira puta menso ninshi yalila ni efidimbwi kule izimoli la femunjazi so yulila ndati Kopala TV tayawanga ya boiling channel wako vatu wachila tamba fe wino kwangwa filamba fyambo kupona uruwa mfotoro bantu ifuma chane wefingi fyamo pura fi alula iwe Kopala TV ni Kopala futi eile kuchalo no ushali mokuba molasti ilo ile sansa Kopala yonse my number ukwambila pepa my number pandula lwansha kito paketi ke mufurila mufuken chingola pa chingo begi na chidila bombe ni Kopala TV eiliko muntu wanja pakushongora fika top star wetata ndetambela pofi Kopala TV pachane 98 apa kude konkana ne charo bamba to bamba ni pate after pate wo pate after pate wo Kopala TV OG yeah. Kopala TV, available on Topstar Channel 98. Kopala TV, entertainment just for you.
Looking for an opportunity to grow your business? Well, Kopala TV has good news for all small-scale businesses. You can now advertise on Kopala TV's Makwebo. Bonseba na mayo na bashtata. Iseni mulangishe amakwebo yenu pamutengo uachepa nga 100 kwacha. Yes, you heard right. For as low as 100 kwacha, your business will get its peak. Whatever the business, we will advertise. All you need to do is send a text of what your business offers, indicating the name, location, and contact details to the number below. Payment for the advertising spot can be made through MTN mobile money on the number down below. Makwebo, make your business known.
One Zambia, one nation.
Zambia chalo chesu. Stop political violence.
I am Zambian. I am against political violence.
I am Zambian, and I say disarm all cadres now.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
It's not good killing one another as Zambians. Stop the violence.
Let's keep the peace in our streets. Let's work to stay one Zambia.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
Ndimwina Zambia. Lekeni ukulwa pamulandu wa politics. For National Development, UPND Chairman for Mines and Freedom Fighter Percy Chanda says looking at the level of investment Glencore has pumped into both Mufulira and Nkana mines, it is likely Glencore is not asking for more than $4.5 billion. Mr. Chanda said, assuming that this is the amount Glencore is asking for and that the PF regime is broke, government should tell Zambians where they are getting this money from. He says UPND demanding that miners are paid their full benefits after that.
Glencore has offered the government to buy all its shares. Looking at the level of investment Glencore has put in both Mufulira and Nkana mines, it is likely Glencore is not asking for not less than $4.5 billion. Assuming that this is the amount Glencoe is asking for, and that the PF regime is broke, government should tell Zambians where they are getting this money. We demand that miners are paid their full benefits first. As UPND, we are saddened how PF is destroying our mining industry.
Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP President Mr. Sean Tembo and Vice President Mr. Henry Mulea held successful alternative national budget discussions with officials from the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, as well as with officials at the Bankers Association of Zambia, BAZ. According to a statement issued by PEP media team, the issues discussed was the need to come up with sustainable national debt management solutions, promote more economic empowerment than social welfare, increase domestic resources mobilization by ensuring that the mining sector pays its fair share of taxation, and increase liquidity in the economy by reducing domestic arrears. And the party is further appealing to other political parties to contribute towards the improvement of our political discourse by developing and presenting their respective alternative solutions to the myriad of problems that are facing in the national affairs.
Promote more economic empowerment than social welfare, increase domestic resource mobilization by ensuring that the mining sector pays its fair share of taxation, increase liquidity in the economy by reducing domestic arrears, etc. These engagements by the party are a prelude to the PEP 2021 Alternative National Budget Gala Dinner that will be held on the 13th of November 2020 at Palm Valley Resort in Lusaka. The party has identified a total of 137 key stakeholder institutions that will be engaged before the Gala dinner, of which 51 institutions have so far been engaged.
Meanwhile, Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has rescheduled the dates for the registration of voters to November 9, 2020 from October 28, 2020. Speaking when he addressed journalists in Lusaka on Tuesday, ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Nshindano said the registration exercise, which was scheduled to commence on October 28, 2020 to November 30, 2020, will now be conducted from November 9, 2020 to December 12, 2020. Mr. Nshindano said the extension to start the mobile voter registration will give an opportunity to a good number of eligible citizens to acquire national registration cards that will enable them to register as voters.
For us. Therefore, in order not to disenfranchise our people, the Commission has again found it imperative to reschedule the dates for the registration of voters, which was scheduled to commence tomorrow, Wednesday, 28th of October 2020 to 30th November 2020. In this regard, mobile voter registration and station voter registration will now be conducted from 9th November 2020 to 12th December 2020. This rescheduling is at the great expense in terms of the Commission's timeline, which we have continuously record that as a Commission we are working with a very strict timeline given the constitutionally enshrined date of 12th August for the polls.
In case you have just tuned in, you are still watching the Kopala TV main news. Join us after another set of commercials for international news.
Kopala TV, Kopala ya buena buena mumwesu Kopala.
My number ishusho limentindeaza yama oji urushani Kopala TV
yama oji imuntu wandi Yesu fwebene by fwebene naidede kalasti yako Kopala futi yaba Kopala
manje kuikatashani yoina
naena yakuntambo olo ni jiviji wala iwe ile sango patopsta dikoda channel 98 paku ninshi yatobera puta mensa ninshi yalila ni evidimbwi kule izimuli lape munjazi so yulila ndati Kopala TV tayawanga ya maboiling channel wako batu wachila tamba fe wino kwangwa filamba fyambo kupona uruwa mfotoro bantu ifuma channel efingi fyamo pula fi alula iwe Kopala TV ni Kopala futhi kuchalo no ushali mokuba molasti elo ile sansa Kopala yonse my number ukwambila pepa my number pandula lwansha kito paketi ke mufurila mufuken chingola pa chingo begi na chidila iwe ni Kopala TV liko muntu wanja pakushongora fika top star wetata nde tambera pofi Kopala TV pachani 98 pakude konkana ne charo bampa to bamba ni pate after pate wo pate after pate wo Kopala TV OG yeah. Kopala TV available on Topstar Channel 98. Kopala TV, entertainment just for you.
Looking for an opportunity to grow your business? Well, Kopala TV has good news for all small-scale businesses. You can now advertise on Kopala TV's Makwebo. Bonseba na mayo na bashtata. Iseni mulangishe amakwebo yenu pamutengo uachepa nga 100 kwacha. Yes, you heard right. For as low as 100 kwacha, your business will get its peak. Whatever the business, we will advertise. All you need to do is send a text of what your business offers, indicating the name, location, and contact details to the number below. Payment for the advertising spot can be made through MTN mobile money on the number down below. Makwebo, make your business known.
One Zambia, one nation.
Zambia chalo chesu. Stop political violence.
I am Zambian. I am against political violence.
I am Zambian, and I say disarm all cadres now.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
It's not good killing one another as Zambians. Stop the violence.
Let's keep the peace in our streets. Let's work to stay one Zambia.
It's not one Zambia if we kill each other. Stop the violence.
Ndimwina Zambia, lekeni ukulwa pamulandu wa politics. Welcome back and thank you for staying tuned. In international stories, as Iraq marks its first anniversary of anti-government protests, the country's parliament is voting on change to its election laws. An early parliamentary election is due to be held next June and will include new electoral districts. But it is unclear whether those changes will bring about better representation. We monitored Al Jazeera for this report.
Well, I think that China always objects to U.S. arms sales to Taiwan, but under a law that was passed in the United States in 1979 called the Taiwan Relations Act, every administration is required to sell arms to Taiwan to defend itself. And frankly, the threat from China is growing, and there is enormous bipartisan support in Congress for selling more arms to Taiwan.
So given that support, that will clearly be seen as a provocation in China. What's China's aim here?
Well, China is trying to defend its sovereignty and not appear weak to its domestic public. But frankly, the Chinese government knows that the United States will continue to sell weapons to Taiwan to defend itself. This particular time, China has threatened to impose sanctions. This is the third or fourth time that China has threatened to impose sanctions on U.S. companies. But frankly, most of these companies are not selling, of course, arms to Beijing, and they're not even doing much commercial business with China. It was quite notable, in fact, that China only said that it would sanction Boeing's defense unit and not the commercial side of the company. So it looks like China is keeping its own interests at the forefront of its mind.
Now that's interesting. And I want to get into the detail of the weapons themselves. What's going on there?
Well, the United States has actually sold some offensive capabilities this time around, which is somewhat of a departure from the past. For example, standoff land attack missiles, high mobile artillery rocket systems. These provide Taiwan with counter-strike missile force, which they can use to hit ports, airfields on China's coast, which would degrade the PLA's ability to conduct operations against Taiwan. So they would only be used to retaliate, to slow down an attack. There's also in this new weapons package.
The U.S. has approved arms sales to Taiwan worth around $1.8 billion in a move that is likely to increase tensions with China. The Pentagon says the deal comprised 3 weapon systems, including rocket launchers, sensors, and artillery. Taiwan, which considers itself a country, is seen as a renegade province by China. Tensions have increased in recent years, and Beijing has not ruled out the use of force to take the island back. We monitored BBC for this report.
Voter registration in Iraq is underway ahead of the early election scheduled for June next year. Over half of the 26.5 million Iraqis eligible to cast their ballot have registered so far. After a tumultuous year marked by large-scale protests and political crises, the election offers a chance to bring about the change people are demanding.
We hope that it will be more transparent than in the past and that the choice will be better. Hopefully there will be genuine change after all that we've suffered over the past year.
Prime Minister Mustafa Al-Kadhimi called for early elections after mass demonstrations toppled the previous government amid protesters' demands for an overhaul of the political system. To placate protesters' demands for better representation, Parliament passed a new election law last December. It abolished party lists, which had previously allowed parties to sweep up all the votes in a given province in favor of individual candidacy. It also divided Iraq's 18 provinces into multiple electoral districts, with each district electing several candidates for Iraq's 320-member parliament. But it's uncertain whether these changes will help new parties get a foothold.
And finally, in international news, Mexico's government has admitted that many more people have died from coronavirus than officially recognized. About 140,000 people have died from the disease, approximately 50,000 more than the official count. The northern state, at Chihuahua, is particularly hit hard, with the second wave of infections causing a red alert. We monitored Al Jazeera for this report.
Even by the standard of Mexico's problems with COVID-19, there's a deeply worrying situation developing in Chihuahua state on the border with the US. Things are threatening to get out of control, says a doctor speaking on condition of anonymity because he's scared of reprisals.
We are at 100% capacity, and we're taking in patients basically out of humanity. They're just sitting in chairs because there's no beds, and instead of putting them on ventilators as they need, we just have to give them oxygen and hope we get lucky.
Mexico's been hit hard throughout the pandemic, but it's rare to hear there's simply not enough beds. And it's not just patients at risk, says the doctor.
We are working practically without equipment to protect ourselves. The donations are running out. We are already worrying about the day when we don't have overalls, and we have to risk ourselves with the kit the authorities give us.
The death count among medical staff in Mexico is already one of the highest in the world. And Mexico's government has also acknowledged around 140,000.
And that international item wraps up this edition of the Kopala TV main news. But before we go, we take a recap at stories making headlines today. CCZ hold a social and economic justice program. Kandawe compound calls on area member of parliament to shift a look into the matter of electricity connections. UPND on the Copper Belt celebrates the fall of Bill 10. And in international news, Iraqis doubt parliamentary election will bring real change. Thank you for watching. My name is Monze Mwinga and pleasant viewing.